Perfect. So thank you to everyone that's come along today and everyone that is watching on replay. If there's any issues with sound or freezing, then do let me know. And as Stuart said, please feel free to put any questions in the chat if you want to help you remember them as we go through. I know that there'll be a lot of different members on here of all ages, so I have tried to make sure that I am given a very broad overview. So I appreciate some of you might know some of this and some of you may know none of it. My main thing will be no question is a stupid question. So do please feel free to ask. And Chev and Isaiah, who work for me in the marketing team, are available on the chat to kind of help you as well. So today we're going to be talking about LinkedIn. Leveraging LinkedIn for career advancement in railway engineering. As Stuart said, I'm Jade, the marketing manager here at the PWI, and I thought the best way to introduce myself was probably to show you the top of my LinkedIn profile. So nice clear headshot there. This is what I look like. I've got my name there nice and visible, and as you can see, I'm marketing obsessed, passionate about learning. I'm a mentor, author, mental health advocate, based in the south of England. And then yeah, it obviously shows you my followers as well. So there is a little bit about me. And then I thought, what else can I tell you? Why am I the right person to give this presentation about LinkedIn? So I did a couple of screenshots to show you what my LinkedIn profile looks like. So as you can see over here, my experience is on there: marketing manager, campaign manager, marketing consultant, to show my experience, a little bit about what I've done. I've got my skills on there as well. So it shows you there's 48 different skills that I've got in marketing and leadership. I've got 17 licenses and certifications around marketing as well. Additional courses that I've been on, and then recommendations. So this isn't a brag slide. This is actually because I want you guys to be able to see the LinkedIn profile, how you can utilize it, and it will make more sense as we go through the training why I've kind of shared these screenshots as well. So there are lots of different social platforms out there, but you probably are aware LinkedIn is a great one for your career, not just for you if you're looking for a new job, but also building your professional relationship, your personal brand, getting your name out there, and there's lots of benefits that we'll go through. But I thought I would start off with a couple of facts for you. So LinkedIn has over 1 billion users from over 200 countries. 67 million companies are on LinkedIn. There are over 35,000 skills listed on LinkedIn. And the top 3 job functions on LinkedIn are sales, operation, and engineering. 49% of LinkedIn users earn over $75,000 per year in dollars. So it shows you the kind of demographic that you've got on there. This one's an interesting one. 1 in 5 recruiters say that people they hire through LinkedIn are a higher quality candidate. So it is a place where recruiters will be looking to headhunt. Over 4 million people have secured a job through LinkedIn's Jobs for You. I know I have used that feature. There are over 14 million open jobs on LinkedIn. 97% of HR and staffing professionals use LinkedIn for recruiting. And candidates with an optimized LinkedIn profile have a 71% higher chance of getting an interview. So what I would like to do by the end of this training is make sure that everyone who's on this call can be in that last statistic there. If you want to go for a job, I want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is optimized so people will find you, will headhunt you, but equally, if a hiring manager has a look at your profile because you've applied for a job, they decide to interview you. So why should we use LinkedIn? The benefits. So it is, like we were saying, it is like a CV for you. It is your opportunity to showcase yourself, but there are other benefits as well. So as well as engaging on there, you can actually stay up to date with news and advances within the industry. So we can all get really caught up in the 9 to 5, doing our job, getting really busy and not necessarily always finding the time to go out there and stay up to date with changes. If you're a member of the PWI, you're very fortunate that you have this supportive network where you can access that, but you can also do that on LinkedIn as well. So They do have LinkedIn newsletters where you can stay up to date with things, and you can also see what other companies, bodies and people are posting around the industry as well. So it's really useful for you just to have like a 5-10 minutes every day while you're having your coffee, just have a little scroll through and see what's going on. You can see what other engineers are doing. You can read project updates. So again, if you're working on a project in one part of the UK, it may be that you have contacts, maybe other members of the PWI who you are connected with on LinkedIn, and they're posting about the projects they're working on. So you can learn from their good practice as well and share ideas and thoughts and things that have worked for you. You can find out about job opportunities within the sector. So there is a job search on LinkedIn, but you also may be headhunted. Like we said, it may be that recruiters are looking for specific skills that are on your profile. Or it may be that you've networked with lots of other members of the PWI and they're posting jobs on there, and you'll be able to see that because they're posting and they're within your network. You can increase your professional visibility. So by making sure, which we'll go through in a minute, that your profile has all the right words on there to help you get found. By you posting and sharing your own thoughts, it's helping you to get more visible in front of other people, other organisations. You can learn from experts and thought leaders, people who have maybe been in the industry for a number of years and they want to share their opinions on things. They want to share where they're speaking or places where you can go and find out more information about things you're interested on. You can showcase your skills and experience. So make sure your profile is kept up to date. Don't just update it as and when you're looking for a job, but actually, what skills have you got in your current role? What companies have you worked for? Sometimes we kind of overlook things and you think, well, this is my job role, but actually start to unpick the skills that you've got there and think about how those skills can be transferred to other organizations as well, because you can put those on your profile, and when people are trying to headhunt, they'll be able to look for you. Build your personal brand, position yourself as a go-to expert. So there'll be people out there who instantly, when you think of someone in your industry who's got a really strong personal brand, I know that there's some PWI members that I constantly see, or I feel like I see them all the time, posting on LinkedIn. Maybe they're talking about training they've been on, or maybe they've got photos of a project they're working on. Those people are building that personal brand. They're becoming someone that other people remember. So if somebody asks them, have you got a recommendation of an expert in this field? I might say, actually, yes, I have this member who I know works in that specific discipline, and I can recommend them because I've seen everything that they've been building on LinkedIn. So I would say don't worry about talking about yourself, talking about your projects on LinkedIn. It's not bragging, it's sharing your information. It's helping to connect other people. It's helping to spread all of that knowledge. And then ultimately, that's going to benefit you because you're going to be building your brand and showcasing yourself and your skills. So, the best way for you to have people find you for jobs, but equally, not even just if you're looking for a job, but maybe you want to go from your first position within a company and you think, well, actually, I'd quite like to get the next level up. I'd like to become a manager, for example, in the same sort of discipline that I'm working in now. By you making sure you're optimizing your profile, by updating it regularly, other people will be able to see that you've updated it. You'll be able to make sure that when people do look for internal candidates, for example, and they come across your profile, they can see, oh, yeah, this is a really professional profile. It's got everything I need on there. And that first impression really counts. So the first thing you can do is personalize your URL. So the URL is the bit right at the top of your internet browser where it says linkedin.com/. You can actually change that to your name, or if your name is already taken, you might want to have your name and a number or something relevant. The reason that's quite nice is because obviously if you've got a CV, for example, and you're putting a link to your LinkedIn profile on there, rather than it just being a string of numbers on the end, it just shows that you've taken a little bit of effort to try and make it look a bit nicer. You can record your name pronunciation on there as well now. So that's good if you have a name that maybe isn't a common name, but also if you've got international colleagues, it can be quite useful. And also for people who need accessibility as well. So it may be that you have someone who's blind, for them to be able to have their screen reader pronounce the name for them. That's really helpful as well. So it will take 2 minutes for you just to simply record your name, and then people are able to play that back and listen to it. You can create your profile in another language. So this is quite useful if you're looking for an international job and you speak another language. Why not? You have the option of having your LinkedIn profile set up in your primary language, which may be English, and then you'll have the option to create your profile in another language as well. So it may be, for example, you want LinkedIn to translate your profile into Spanish. That can be done. And then if you were looking for a job and a recruiter's looking for someone who speaks Spanish, not only does your profile say you speak Spanish, but it's actually available in Spanish as well. So that's just going to help you to get found if you are looking for those international jobs or jobs where another language is really useful. Keep your profile up to date, as I said. Don't just leave it until you do need a job, but make sure your photo is up to date as well. So I've seen this firsthand. I've had a look on some of our PWI members' LinkedIn profiles before I go along to one of our seminars, and I think, okay, I need to go and have a conversation with this person. I've had a look at their profile, and then I try to find them at the event, and I can't necessarily match up who it is because maybe the photo is a little older than the last couple of years. And if that's the case, it can obviously hinder your opportunity to be able to network with people. If people are looking for you to talk about opportunities they've got coming up or projects that you've posted about, just makes it a little bit harder to find you if that profile photo is not clear. So do make sure as well, like the image on the screen, you're looking at the camera, people can see your whole face, and not like that guy, but try and smile as well. So you look approachable and friendly. That always helps. Something I've found myself when I've been trying to recruit and looking at people's profiles when they've sent me a job application is some people don't have their profile set to visible for everyone. So you can actually change your photo settings on LinkedIn, and you can change it so it's private. You can change it so only your connections see it, or you can change it so it's visible to all LinkedIn members. I know some people can feel a little bit concerned about security when it comes to online, but what I would say is LinkedIn is a professional platform. It is somewhere where people need to see you to be able to connect with you, and it's not a personal place where you're going to be sharing lots of photos of your family, for example. So just having your profile photo visible for everyone and enabling recruiters, hiring managers and connections to see not only your photo but your whole profile will help you as well. And create an eye-catching banner image. So at the top, as you can see on that example there, it is just plain blue. But what you can do is you can change that something you're interested in. So for example, if you are really interested in sustainability and there's a specific project you're working on around that, it might be that you want to change your banner image to something that relates to that. If you have a new connection and they go on your profile and have a look and they see, this person has a really nice banner that visually looks like sustainability in railways, then that person might then send you a message and say, oh, I was on your profile. I noticed you're really into sustainability. I'm working on this project. What sort of projects have you worked on? So it's like a really nice visual prompt that encourages people to make connections with you, and it shows them what you're interested in as well. And there's a really nice feature on LinkedIn. If you go to linkedin.com/help, if there's anything in this list that you think, that's great, Jade, but I don't know how to record my name, literally go to linkedin.com/help, and it will step by step say, click here, click here, click here, and it will tell you how to do all of these things. So rather than me physically going through and showing and you forgetting, you have the option there to just type it in and LinkedIn will walk you through how to do those things. I would say if you're going to do these, it probably take you about 10 minutes. It's something you can do quite quickly, but it's something that will really help to change that first impression. So whether that's someone looking to hire someone or someone looking to make a new connection in the industry, there are some really simple things you can do there. And then what you want to do, if you are looking for a job and you want to get yourself to stand out, there's some things we can do to really optimize the content that you've got on your profile. So first thing you want to do is craft a compelling headline, including your role and expertise. So if you think back to the one that I showed you, if we go here at the beginning, my headline says marketing obsessed. That's the very first thing you see. It doesn't say Jade Dover marketing manager, because every other marketing manager in the country is possibly going to have that as their job title underneath. And to someone who's recruiting, it's not necessarily going to pop out and stand out. Whereas if you're looking for a marketing manager, you're probably going to want someone who's really passionate about what they do. So right there, straight away, marketing obsessed, passionate about learning. They know straight away what I do, how much I love it, and that I'm really passionate about my professional development as well. So don't feel like it just needs to say underneath it, track engineer or something like that. So try and have a think about what you could have there that's really going to make you stand out. Then you want to have the summary. So your summary should kind of include keywords, achievements, and passions. So whether you've been in the industry for a year or whether you've been in the industry for 30 years, think about those things that really make you stand out. What makes you different to your colleagues? What are the things that you're really passionate about where people say, oh, okay, if you want to talk about that, you need to go and speak to this person. And they're the sort of things you want to think about. So when I say keywords, they'll be the words that if you were working in OLE, you may put electrification in there, but actually, are there other specific keywords that come up day to day in your role that you can maybe incorporate into that summary as well? Like those buzzwords that everyone will be using to talk about, because they're the words that people might be searching on LinkedIn when they are looking for people to recruit. And then include a hook. So when people view your profile, it has, I think it's about 70 characters, and then it says see more. So in those first 2 lines, you want to really make sure that whatever you've got there includes a hook, something that's going to make people click see more. So it may be that you talk a little bit about the thing that I'm most passionate is XYZ. And the biggest project that I ever worked on was XYZ, and it was amazing because, and then you've got, oh, well, why was it amazing? And then they click to see more. So have a think about what sort of thing can you put in that first sentence or 2 sentences that's going to make people think, I really need to click and find out what the rest of this sentence is or what happened after that. So there's something else there for them to come back to. Don't be scared to add media to your profile as well. So I know feels like a very long time ago now, but about 15 years ago when I started out with LinkedIn, I was always very nervous about posting media out there because I thought, well, I've got a job, and if I start posting on LinkedIn, maybe people at work will think, is she trying to get a job? Is she trying to go somewhere else? But actually, if you can start to put links, videos, documents of projects you've worked on, like we said, it stimulates discussion. It gives other people the opportunity to see what you're working on, but also it will help you to make new connections, other people with similar interests. It will help to verify that you are who you say you are as well. If other people are looking at your profile, it will help people who may be able to help you with what you're doing. Or if you're hiring for people to join your team, they may have a look at your profile and they'll think, actually, I would like to work on that project. That looks like a really great team. That looks like a team that I want to be part of. So don't be afraid to share links, videos and documents. But again, just make sure, obviously, they're not confidential, but make sure you set them so that other people can view them as well, that it's not just private, hidden, so nobody can find it. Highlight relevant experience in the railway engineering industry. So yes, highlight your job role and what you've done, but also, have you done any volunteer work? Have you been involved in STEM projects with schools? Have you volunteered with the PWI to help us at some events? Those sort of experiences will help you to stand out. There'll be things that are on your LinkedIn profile that maybe other people won't have on their profile, that when people look at it, they'll say, okay, that's really interesting. Let me ask them some more about that. Ask your colleagues and industry contacts to write you endorsements. So again, don't leave this to when you are going to look for a job. Try and make it like part of your practice that you do this. If you are working with an organisation where you've been working on a project with them and maybe that contract's come to an end, ask the people you've been working with, would you mind giving me an endorsement on LinkedIn? And they can write a little couple of sentences. This is the person I worked with. This is what they did with me. I really thought they were great at it, and this is why. And all of that is kind of social proof that will help you when you are looking for jobs or when people are looking for experts, because it's not just you saying how great you are, it's somebody else saying how great you are and how well you've done and what you've achieved. So all of that social proof is really, really good. Include your key skills on your profile. So have a look at your profile and ensure that all of the words that would be included in your ideal job in the job description are on your LinkedIn profile. So if your ideal job description would say manages a team, and it says they are fitting XYZ, or they're a specialist in this, make sure those exact phrases and words are included on your job description, on your CV, because when you are applying for roles, when people are headhunting, they will use those words to actually try and find the right candidates. And having used LinkedIn myself to recruit, LinkedIn does have a feature for recruiters where you can actually filter out people whose profiles don't include those words as well. So I know that when I hired for one of the marketing roles within the company, we had over 200 applicants via LinkedIn within less than 24 hours. How do you even start to go through a pile like that? LinkedIn does have that feature to say, well, actually, Jade, your job description has these words, these profiles have these words. So therefore, LinkedIn will help me to sift through and find the ones that match and the right candidates with the right skills. And do make sure that you include all of your qualifications, certifications, membership. If you're a member of the PWI, put it on there. If you have letters after your name, put them on there. All of those things that are going to help you to stand out and to build that authority and show that you do know what you say you know, and put you as that expert in the field. Strategically building your network. So in terms of the people that you connect with on LinkedIn, another common question I have been asked is about, should I be connecting with people I don't know in real life? If you don't, quite honestly, you could end up just connecting with your colleagues that you're in the office with, which is great, but it's also good to expand that network. So if someone's a PWI member and you're a member, by all means, connect with them. You may have similar interests, you may have things you can learn from each other. It may be that you want to join LinkedIn groups, rail specific ones, engineering forums. The PWI has some groups on there as well that you can join. There may be other organisations, companies, employers. There may be people who are influencers, maybe with podcasts on engineering that you're really interested in. Don't feel like you have to know someone in real life to connect with them. And when you send them a connection request, let them know why you're connecting with them. If you want to connect with them because actually I had to listen to your podcast and I'm really interested in the topics that you're talking about, let them know when you're connecting with them. Or maybe it's someone who you've got some mutual friends with. We're members of the PWI. We both go to this local section. I haven't had a chance to meet with you face to face yet, but I wanted to connect with you here first. sometimes that's a great way to kind of virtually meet people before you meet them in real life too. Um, and connect with professional bodies as well. So the PWI, the Engineering Council. And the more people you connect, what LinkedIn does is it says, okay, I know your friends or connections with this person, this organization. Other people who are connected with them and these organizations are also connected with these organizations and these people. So it will start to suggest connections for you and suggest organizations for you that other people who are similar to you connect with as well. So that will really help you to like build out that network. And then again, if you're looking for jobs, the if people are employed in the companies that you're going to, it may be that you can reach out to them and say, I'm thinking about applying for a job within this company. Do you enjoy working there? What's it like to work there? It may be that the hiring manager says to them, oh, I see you're connected with someone who's applied for a job here. Um, do you know them personally? And they may say, I don't know them personally, but I've seen them posting on LinkedIn a lot. They are within my network, and I really like what they've been posting because they've been posting about this project and this project. So even if it's just those small little links and people might not know you in person, it can still help to build your brand, to get your name out there, and to build that credibility for you as well. Um, if you have your phone, you may want to take a little snapshot of this, or you may already follow some of these. But here's a couple of ideas of places you might want to follow on LinkedIn. So obviously the PWI goes without saying. RSSB, Rail Accident Investigation Branch, the ORR, Women in Rail, Engineering Council, Network Rail, Young Rail Professionals, even events like Rail Live. Any organisations that you've come across, any publications that you might have read, any events you might have gone to, any of those at all, start to follow them, start to like things on their pages, start to comment on things, start to engage, because other people will see your name coming up because the content you see might be useful for you. Because the more you engage with these sorts of organisations, the more LinkedIn will show you other relevant things. So I don't want LinkedIn to be something that's really onerous, but 10 minutes a day while you're having a coffee, it's really easy to start building up your presence on LinkedIn, getting noticed and building those connections. And all of these organisations on here are great to stay up to date with, but equally there'll be other ones as well that you'll probably think of just off the top of your head. Actually, I'll go and follow this one, this one, this one. So, right, following on from that, once you have got those connections that you want, those companies you're following with, how do you make sure you're engaging with them on LinkedIn in a way that's effective? So in order for you to kind of maximize that visibility of yourself, to make sure that you are getting noticed, there's some key things you can do. So the first thing is to engage with others. So don't just be someone who logs in and scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. Do take the time. If you like a post, just hit like. If you have a thought about something someone's posted, write a comment. If you've seen someone posting something and you think, actually, I've got people in my network who would benefit from that, share it. You can share it with a comment on, or you can just share it without. It doesn't matter. But all of those things help you to stay active. They help you to get seen more. But actually, it helps LinkedIn to show what you're doing to other people as well. Create engaging content. So don't just focus on engaging with other people's, but actually make sure you're creating content that other people might want to engage in. So it might be that you pose a question and ask people for their opinions. Polls can be a really good way to do that as well. Maybe you've learned something this week in a project you're working on and you want to share that and say, actually, this week I've been working on X and I thought the outcome was going to be Y, but actually it ended up being Z. Who would have known? You know, just share that with other people. See what they think. They might give you some views and go, oh, wow, that was really useful. Thank you. Respond to comments as well. So if people reply to things, if they're commenting on what you're putting, reply as well. Come underneath, ask them a question, get them to give you feedback on that. Don't just leave them hanging. And encourage others to interact as well. Invite your network to share their thoughts, encourage their comments, and it will boost visibility. So that LinkedIn algorithm essentially is relevance, engagement, network strength, timing, and platform interaction. LinkedIn wants to know the content you put out there is relevant, and they will show you stuff that is relevant to you based on what you do. Engagement. The more people like, comment, and share on things, the more visible it is. Network strength. The more you have relationships with people within your network online, the more they will see your stuff. So engage more with content you want to see more of. Timing. Post things when people are online. Don't post a really great post at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you know most of your colleagues are sat in the staff room at 11 o'clock having a coffee in the morning, post at that time if you know that they're scrolling through LinkedIn. LinkedIn will help if you're posting things when people are around and they engage a bit at that time. That's helpful. And on platform engagement and interaction. So like we said, don't just go on there and like scroll. Actually make sure you are engaging, because if you do these 5 things, post at the right time, interact with your network, engage, make sure it's all relevant, all of that stuff will help the algorithm to say this person's interesting, I should show more people this person's profile, I should show more people what this person is getting up to. So those top tips: post consistently, post when people are online. Vary the type of media, images, infographics, video. Share your projects, and use relevant trending hashtags. So quick facts for you: content with images see twice the amount of engagement. Live streams see more engagement than regular videos, if you're brave enough. And weekly posts see twice the engagement. So if you're wondering how often to post, try once a week. Once a week is absolutely fine. And key takeaways for success: optimize your profile, make a good first impression, make sure the images, the graphics are nice, and utilize those keywords. Build a strategic network, connect with the right people. Engage consistently, so stay visible, post once a week. Create impactful content, position yourself as an expert, have an opinion, share a project, all of those 4 simple things. And then how can you check how you're doing so far? Once you log on to LinkedIn, if you go on your desktop, you can actually have your look at your analytics, and it will tell you this week, this is your post impression, this is how much it's increased in the last 7 days, this is your followers, how many people have viewed it, so you can see. And what's quite handy at the bottom here, it tells you this week on LinkedIn, I've only done 1 of the 3 things it recommends, but it's telling me, Jade, write a post, write a comment, and make a contribution, essentially. And those 3 things it tells you there increase your visibility by doing this: posting, commenting, and contributing. So LinkedIn is trying to help you to get more visible, to help you get found by recruiters, and to help you position yourself as an expert. So if you have any questions, please do feel free. Stuart will, I think, guide us. Sorry, it's very much a whistle-stop tour. And yeah, if anybody does want to connect with me on LinkedIn, there's a little QR code that you can scan on your phone.
Jade, well, thank you for that. That's really insightful. And from my perspective, there's so much more to this platform than meets the eye. And you've been through a hell of a lot of it today. Certainly plenty of tips and tricks to use when you're looking for I was going to say expose yourself. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? But you know what I mean. Make sure that you are exposed to the right people. One thing, and I've always been told in the past, that engineers as a breed are not very good at selling themselves, and I think largely that's true. Now, what Jade's done today is give a great insight into actually what we as engineers could do in terms of making ourselves more visible. So I think it's been great. I've also learned some new terms. I didn't know social proof was a term, but I know what it is now. And there were a few other bits of example in there that again, new to me and perhaps new to some of the older attendees today, which is great. It's good to learn new things. So I can see there's been a lot of questions, etc., that have been raised, but I see that your team, Jade, has done a fantastic job in answering the vast majority of them. So I don't think there's too much more to add, other than I would pick up on one. Govinda Singh asked about 5 or 6 questions. I think, to be honest, you've answered most of them. But in terms of a broader question, he asks, who are thought leaders that you think you should be engaging with at this sort of time? Anybody in particular, other than perhaps wider than the rail industry?
So my Wi-Fi is cutting out, so I'm not sure if you can hear me.
We can,
I
yes.
can't. Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I can't really hear you very well, so but I will talk. In terms of rail industry experts that you should kind of be following, my thought would be, when you look on LinkedIn and people coming up on your feed and you think, oh, that's a really good post, they're the sorts of people that you should be following. So if you go along to an event and the speakers are there, the first thing I would do is go through and follow all the speakers at the event. If you're going on LinkedIn and you're really interested in people who are posting on there, you should be following them as well. In terms of, is there just one or two dedicated people to follow on there? I think it probably depend on your personal interest in terms of your career and your like your personal discipline as to what's going to be interesting. So if, for example, you're sustainability engineer focusing on sustainability, it may be you then want to start connecting with more sustainability people as well on there. So I think it will depend. But I would say the more people you see coming up, like when you're reading the journal, for example, go online on LinkedIn and find the article authors of those journal pieces and connect with them on LinkedIn. All of those people that are putting themselves out there more, they're the sorts of people you want to be connecting with. Another good one is, if there's an organisation that you're maybe thinking, I might want to work for them in the future, or I'm really interested in their projects and it would be great to, connect with them. Do it. Start connecting with some of their staff as well. Because if you do then go and apply for a job there a little while down the line, you've already got some connections there that you might have started to build and started to get a bit of visibility. Because even if people don't connect with us necessarily, but they start to see our name, they're seeing that we're posting frequently on other people's posts, that all subconsciously will go in to our brain. And then when we apply for a job, it's like, oh, why do I know that name? How do I know that person? So anything like that, really. Chev and I have messaged me a couple of questions that they said they didn't think they answered. So I don't know if I should go through that list. The next question on there was, which groups could provide valuable insights and connections? So again, it would be the same sort of thing. Have you got a specialist technical discipline that you're specifically in that you might want to go on to? There was that one slide that I showed you that had the RSSB on there. It may be that you want to start following magazines, rail industry magazines, things like that. Anything in your industry that's specific to things you're interested in. How frequently do we publish content? So again, it's completely up to you, but be consistent. If you can post once a week, that's great. If you post more, great. But what I would say is, don't start off trying to challenge yourself to post 7 days a week and then after a couple of weeks go down to once a month. It's better to post once a month and be consistent with once a month than to post 7 days and then work down to a month. So once a week is great, twice a month is great, but just try and be consistent with what you're doing, because then LinkedIn's like, okay, I know this person is going to post with this sort of frequency. And there's another question that says, what steps can be taken today to improve your LinkedIn profile and engagement strategy within the rail industry? What immediate actions can lead to better networking and opportunities? So in terms of your profile, if you've got 5 minutes at the end of the day, go on there, open it up on a desktop because it's easier to see, and just have a look. If I was looking at my profile, is my picture visible? Have I got a header banner at the top? And what does it say under my name? So does it say electrification engineer, or does it say passionate about electrification in the railways and something like that, that's a bit more meaty or a bit more of a buzz to it? Have a look at that very first couple of sentences with the see more button. What does yours say? If someone was looking at it, would it be enough to encourage them to click through? And then once you've done those, just have a scroll down and have a look. Is it up to date? Have you got all of your past employers on there? Have you got all your qualifications on there? Are your memberships on there? And LinkedIn is constantly updating as well. So there's lots of sections that they start to trial and add onto your profile. So if there are any, add them. And why not ask your colleagues that are in the office this afternoon, when you get 2 minutes, can you just go onto LinkedIn and write me a little recommendation at the bottom? And if you go down to that on your profile, you can actually send that and request them. So you could request your colleagues to send them to you, and you can give them to other people as well if you want to, and then they can obviously give one back. And then in terms of immediate actions to better networking and opportunities, have a look at the little feature on the side where LinkedIn recommends people or people you might know, and go and connect with them. So have a look. And if you see someone and you think, oh yeah, they've got lots of my colleagues in my last organisation, and maybe you want to connect with them, pop them a message as well. If you're looking for networking and opportunities like that, go along to PWI events, but then connect with people that you're meeting there. It's kind of like a two-way attack, because if you go along to a PWI section meeting, for example, and meet people, that's great. But then if you never connect with them online, you may never see them again. Whereas if you connect with them online and you come away and you say, it was great to meet you today at the event. I really look forward to seeing you again at another one. Oh, by the way, and start a conversation with people, I've been working on this project. I know you said you were doing something similar, that sort of thing. Start to have those conversations and build on that. But what you'll find is when you start to post content, when you start to engage with other people's content, that's when those networking and those connections will start to build, because people will start to get familiar with your face, your name, and they'll start to see, oh yeah, this is someone worth getting to know a bit more because they're posting, because they're talking about stuff. So I would say they're kind of my little top tips, really.
That's great, Jade. Thank you. I think looking at all the questions, Isaiah's done a great job of addressing all the remaining questions. I would say one thing that picked my eye was about security of the system, which I think has been addressed. But I don't know whether it's worth saying anything about the security of LinkedIn. The same as all social media. I guess it can be hacked in some way, shape, or form, but it's as safe as it can be.
Yeah, definitely. So you probably have heard this lots of times anyway, but just make sure that you have things like two-factor authentication set up, which essentially means that when you go to log in, you have to, maybe they text your phone or they'll send you an email, so you have to like double sign in. That is a good security measure to take. Make sure your password isn't the same as any other password you use anywhere else, because then if you do get hacked on something else, they can't hack onto this as well. Set yourself up with your notifications so that if you do get a login, you can set up so you get a login notification. And then in terms of the actual security of your profile and the information on there, you're not going to be sharing anything that's too personal to you. It is going to be stuff related to your job role. So yes, you may have your company email on there, for example, and your name, but they're kind of things that people can usually get anyway, just by as you can see on the screen right now, everyone's got an @thepwi.org who works for the PWI. So if somebody knows your name, they know your email address. And in terms of the security of it all, I guess all that other information on there is kind of information that don't put anything on there you wouldn't be happy for people to know about, really. But I agree, Stuart. In terms of social media, it can be a bit scary sometimes. People do worry about the security, but LinkedIn does have very good security on there, equally as do the other social networks, and they are constantly updating things. So a top tip actually is, if you do access things like LinkedIn on your mobile, always make sure that you do all your system updates when your mobile tells you to, because the reason there are system updates, and the same for apps as well, if the LinkedIn app says you need to update it, please do the updates, because they are there, because if somebody's found a little hole or a way to get into the back end of systems, that's why an update comes out, to fix those little holes. So do make sure you stay up to date with all of the updates on any apps and systems on your phone and computer.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Jade, for sharing your knowledge and experience of the system, as it were, and thanks to your guys behind the scenes. I'll bring it to a close at this point, but what I normally say is that, remember, you can continue the conversation on LinkedIn, and of course it's particularly pertinent with this session. So we will have a link to this presentation on the PWI website, and if there are any other specific questions that you do have that maybe haven't been covered today, or you didn't want to ask at the time, you can still make contact with Jade and her team through that specific LinkedIn link. So use it if you need to. Also, just have a quick look at the conversation that's gone on through the meeting today, and you'll see some useful links that have been put in there. So on that note, I'll just remind you that the next session of Lunch and Learn is in 2 weeks' time, 12th of November, and it's all about digital delivery with the cloud and AI technology. And I look forward to seeing some of you then. But please keep your eye out for other Lunch and Learns. They're all on the PWI website. And so I wish you all the best, and thank you very much for attending today. I hope you all found it useful.